Good evening, everyone. It's Rick. It is November the 5th, 2019. If you need to communicate with me, I communicate by email only. I do not speak on the phone. I'm not an attorney. I don't provide legal services. I'm just a victim of YouTube like yourselves who studied my rear end off, fought my rear end off. If you're new to my channel, I started the channel, 4 years ago. Go watch my last video. I go over everything in my car, but I'm just like you guys, and I've helped people, and I've helped people get off child support, help people get their driver's license back. I help people get it off their credit. Okay, I've had people submit paperwork, and then child support will withdraw the petition, things like that. Okay, you don't stand a chance if you go in there by yourself. I mean, unprepared. I do not recommend people getting an attorney because the attorneys work for them. Okay, I cannot prove it, but I strongly suspect that the attorneys are double dipping. I believe that the attorneys receive money through the child support agency for everybody they get to agree to pay by income withholding. Okay, most of the time, if they could get away with it, they would love to have your signature on a piece of paper agreeing to whatever. They just want your signature. Okay, why do they need your signature? Because it's consent. They need your consent. I've been harping on this for the last few months now. They need your consent because this whole thing is a contractual, service-based relationship. Okay, the child support agency is in charge of setting up services for parentage, and what they want to do is they want to be in charge of collecting the child support and then sending a check to the custodial parent, which is usually the mother, and then they receive money from the federal government. Okay, and then what they've done is they've created an elaborate fraud to trick everybody into believing that you're being ordered to pay child support, that you're participating in a judicial process. You're inside of you have to go to a court building to participate in child support enforcement establishment, paternity establishment hearings, and it's all done to trick you. Okay, and I'm going to show you, briefly. Okay, again, my email is rick, rick0327 at me.com. I'm going to leave it in the description. In exchange for a gift, I provide paperwork for you to challenge these people. Okay. Okay, this is give you an idea of, this is one email I would send you if you were to send me a gift. What they are affidavits to file before appearing in court. Okay, every situation is different, so I have a variety of different court affidavits, motions. Okay, so right here in this email alone, this is just one. I send you 14. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. This is just one email, and they're well written. Okay, I didn't just throw this together. I'm a very prideful person. I take pride in the things that I do. Okay, and I could definitely get much more, but I am trying to help people my life turned around when I started helping people. I said that in my last video, okay? So I just want to show you guys this, that you're not going to get ripped off. There are people out there that will rip you off, okay? There are also people out there that claim they help people and they don't offer any proof, or they'll have their friends call them up on the phone, that kind of nonsense. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some proof, okay? Okay, this nice woman reached out to me, and here's another thing that I do every once in a while, but I don't do it anymore. But I send paperwork to people for free, okay? As I did with this woman, okay? And she said, I don't know if you remember me, a single mom, 50-50 custody, my ex wanted child support. What happens is she probably makes more money than her husband, okay? She was stuck with all the medical bills, daycare appointments, and the court ordered her to pay $800 a month. Not knowing what to do, I found you and Amin on YouTube. See, every time I get people reaching out to me and they're giving me props, like, hey, Rick, I learned that. They always mention me and Amin. Me and Amin Osiris are friends. I followed him. He was out here long before I did. His channel gave me hope to fight on. I was at the stage in my life where they beat me down so much that I gave up. I found his channel. He revitalized me, gave me the confidence to go back into court, because I got tired of going to court, and I knew I was right, but I just kept being told I was wrong. But I could never find anything on the internet to corroborate what I learned. And then I found his channel. I was like, holy cow. So like, me and him are friends, and whenever people talk, they like to mention me and him in the same sentence. He does his own thing. Again, we're friends, but I'm just saying that usually when people are mentioned, it's myself and him. So I give props to him as well here. Okay, so I started watching and studying, and decided to reach out to you, and you were so kind to give me the paperwork with no charge, and I began to do my fight. Started losing hope. Listen to you guys. There you go. See, right here. And I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't read this in a long time, so and continue to flood the court with paperwork. That's the thing. You flood them with paperwork. And what we're doing is we're citing facts, we're rebutting presumptions, and we're showing them that they're not dealing with an idiot and another victim, okay? That sometimes they might just say, you know what, let's not mess with this one, let's move on. Which is what happened with me eventually in my fight, okay? Let's just say she got she did it on her own, by the way. She used my paperwork, but she did her own studying, and then she did her own paperwork. Using my paperwork, she added her own stuff, so she deserves all the credit. All I'm showing here is that she took what I gave her, what she learned from Amin also, and then she did it on her own. Her name is Kristen here, and she deserves all the prop, but I'm just showing you that she prevailed, okay? This is a terminated income withholding order, okay? Now, the reason why now here's the sad part. Now here's the sad story. I deal with a lot of people, all right? And I used to be a little more hands-on at one time, but I've discovered that a lot of people are ungrateful, and I would send, a lot of times I'd send out paperwork. People send me a story and I'd feel bad, and I'm like, well, I really don't need the gift, and I'd send them paperwork. And here's the sad part. 8 out of 10 people will not even say thank you. 8 out of 10 people won't even respond with a thank you. We get to the point where I'd have to send them an email and say, it's kind of customary to say thank you when somebody gives you a gift. Some people would respond, and then other people won't even answer. So that's why and what happens? I get more aggravated. I'm helping somebody and I get aggravated because, I don't know, I was raised to say thank you when somebody does something nice for me. So, but, obviously she said thank you. All right, so here's another dismissal. Here's another guy, all right, been with me a while, and he flooded them with paperwork, and the child support agency withdrew the petition, okay? See here, order of dismissal. So you guys want to read this. Now he's got to try and get his money back, okay? He's been with me for a while. All right, this is the order of dismissal. the attorney for the child support agency, they withdrew the petition. Okay, because we sent in interrogatory seeking the discovery of evidence. They could not comply, so they withdrew the petition. Happy ending. Okay, so right there is proof of a dismissal. Okay. And that's it for now. Oh boy, there was another one I wanted to show you guys. All right, Rick, I just want to give you an update. They tried to suspend my driver's license, but your paperwork stopped them dead in their tracks, and he's still working. He's working on his to get the child support order vacated. But they were going to vacate. Excuse me, they want to suspend his driver's license. He submitted my paperwork, and they're leaving him alone. Okay, so just showing you that my paperwork can be effective. It doesn't work nearly as much as I'd love it to work. We are dealing with fraudsters, okay? And what I'm going to show you is another thing I discovered. They use fraud. They'll have you believe that you're going to court fighting a petition, okay? But really all it is an application. They call the applicant the petitioner. It's all a ruse, okay? They have you go into an administrative tribunal for child support, and and it's held inside of a court building to give you the impression that you're in a court. They're contracted. The 4D agency is contracted with the courts, and everybody working in the courts, because of this cooperative agreement, they're being basically rented out. So the state is basically renting out their employees so they can receive federal money. Very elaborate fraud. I mean, if you think about it, okay? Right here. Let me show you. All right here. 45 CFR 302.30. Publicizing the availability of support enforcement services. Advertisement. They're publicizing. It's a service. They're offering a service. Okay? That's all they're doing. Who do you see advertising on television? Lawyers. Okay, but this is services for establishment of child support, establishment of paternity. It's a service-based, it's commercial. Okay? So again, this is, it's working, it's corroborating what I just said before, that it's a fraud, and that the applicant, they're calling a petitioner. And they need you. See, when the applicant, the petitioner, applies for services for parentage, well, they need two parents. So they need the other parent, which is you, to agree. So what they do is they scare the shit out of you with a letter to appear, or you're going to be found in default, you may be arrested, your driver's license will be suspended, and then what happens is you show up, you're scared out of your mind, or you hire an attorney. As soon as you hire an attorney's not going to tell you this. You're consenting. You're consenting for services. Or it's an implied contract. Okay? All right, so this is 42 USC. Okay? All right. Procedures under which income of a person, or support obligation. Let's look up the word obligation. For purposes of subsection O, the term obligation means an established duty, whether or not fixed, arising from an expressed or implied contractual grantor-grantee license or it's a contractual relationship. That's my point. Or for a fee-based or similar relationship. Okay, many times the custodial parent has to pay an annual fee of $25. So it's nothing but it's a service. Okay, and they'll tell you that that child support is a duty. It's a lawful. It's an established duty by you implying consent. They need your implied consent by you showing up, and what happens? You do not contest. Okay. What is fraud? Act of deception and intentional concealment, omission, or perversion of the truth. You show up or you may be arrested. Your license may be suspended. Okay? Default judgment may be issued. What are they doing? They're inducing fear into you. Okay? You're showing up under duress. You're not showing up because you want to. You're showing up because you're in fear. And when people are in fear, they tend not to. They don't study. They forget all of their rights. Okay, you forget to contest the hearings, as is your right. Okay. Okay, this is Article 2, jurisdiction of the Uniform Interstate Family Support Act. I've gone over this, but I got to keep showing you because it's repetition, guys. Trust me. All right, trust me. A lot of this stuff, repetition. And then when you go into court, you're going to remember these things. Okay, people who have been successful using my paperwork are the ones who studied and went in there and knew what they were talking about or acted like they knew, and that's what this is all about. Okay, you have to know your subject. You got to know your rights. You got to give them the impression that you're onto them. I know this is a fraud. This is not true. I know my rights. I don't care what law you're saying. I have rights. I have a right to contract with you, and I have a right not to contract with you. This is nothing more than a contractual offer, and I'm refusing your offer. Okay, so here it is under section subsection A, section 2. The individual submits to the jurisdiction of the state by consent. All right, in a record by entering a general appearance. This is them getting you to show up, or by filing a responsive document having the effect of waiving any contest of personal jurisdiction. You're sending, a dismissal response, show up, blah, 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 whatever. But you're not contesting. You have to contest or object, okay? Here's another thing. Non-resident. You're not a non-resident. You're a state citizen, okay? The state only has jurisdiction over you when they have evidence of wrongdoing. That's how they can. Okay, that's basically how they. If you're not free to leave, you're arrested. Okay, so they have to have evidence of probable cause. Okay, I've discussed that in a video or two ago. Okay, all right. So, all right. This is showing you that this is nothing more than a service-based offer. Okay, so publicity must include information on any application fees which may be imposed for such services. All right, so again, this is proof of services. Okay, Title 4D agency means this. Now here's the other part of the equation. The Title 4D agency means the single and separate organizational unit in the state that has the responsibility for administering or supervising the administration of the state plan under Title 4D. So look, single and separate organizational unit. Remember what I said? They're not part of the court. They want you to think they're part of the court. They're basically renting out the courts. Okay, to give you the impression that it's a court procedure. Okay. All right, more trickery. All right, this is the essentials for attorneys in child support, chapter 4. All right, look at this trickery. Who is the client? The child support enforcement programs have all 40 attorneys have struggled with the question, who is the client? Okay, it is often somewhat ambiguous for attorneys who work for large corporate organizations or government agencies. This is especially true for child support enforcement line attorneys, given the similarity of interests of the custodial parent and for the agency. Okay, this is funny. Office of Child Support Enforcement's opinion that the 4D attorney represents the state's interest, inconsistent with a long line of cases. So they represent the state. Okay, they represent the state. So, and you can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this in the. I'm going to leave a link to this in the description. Okay, see, they want you to believe that child support is for the child and for the family, but it's not. It's that's why the attorney is representing the state. Why? Because of a case like We Hunt versus Ledbetter, which held the Title 4D's goal was to immediately lower the cost of the taxpayer, okay, by lessening the number of families enrolling in welfare, blah, blah, blah. But really, it's for welfare recoupment, okay? That's what it's all about. That's where the money's going. It's going into the state treasury for recoupment of welfare expenditures, okay? All right, so you can go over this. But this is just more proof of trickery. Okay. Also, people are telling me about legal fees. All right. You're just gonna have to argue. Say it's my understanding that the child support enforcement attorney is being paid by the state, and then if you want, you can bring this with you to court and show them. Okay. You can print this out. All right. Again, I'm gonna leave the link for you guys. All right. Look, chapter 2. Conclusion, the Child Support Enforcement Program is a cooperative undertaking by federal, state, tribal, local entities. It's an agreement, okay? Working together to locate parents, establish paternity, This is also true with your employer. What they do is, again, they send an income withholding and a threat that if they don't send the money, they may face a fine or they have to... federal law requires them, and it's not true. There is no law that requires them to do it. What the private entity is cooperating. They just don't know they're cooperating. Okay, they're cooperating under fear. Okay? Okay, so I'll leave this in the link as well, in the description as well. Here's again what I was saying. Child support agencies also gather information from many agencies and private organizations that were never previously involved in child support enforcement. Employers assist through income withholding. Financial institutions assist, that's the banks, through the reporting and seizure of assets. The effort to collect the support owed to America's children. See, it's all America's children. It's bullshit. It's welfare recoupment. This money's not owed to any children. This is all BS. They just admitted in the last chapter I showed you. Nothing but fraud. Okay? Fraud. Government agencies. All right? And again, I'm going to leave this link for you guys to read over. If you work for the government or you work in for the military, they can seize your money because the federal government is the biggest employer in the United States. So they had the president and Clinton in '96 issued an executive order. By the way, executive orders do not apply to you and I. It only applies to government agencies and employees, okay? They want you to think it applies to everybody. No, it applies only to them, okay? So I'll leave this in the link. Okay, more proof of fraud. Expedited judicial administrative processes, okay? They're doing this because they have to, they have a limited amount of time to complete the whole process of establishing support and establishing paternity, or they don't get their money. Well, we all know that these, cases in court and real courts, they can drag on for a long time. Well, so what did they do? They created expedited judicial processes, or a system in which judge surrogates make judicial. So how is it a judicial process if a judge surrogate makes? They cannot make judicial decisions without what? Without your consent. Okay? Judge surrogates are referred by many titles, including masters, referees, commissioners, magistrates, hearing officers, decision makers, blah, blah, blah. All they're doing is collecting evidence. All right? Administrative process or statutory system granting authority to an administrative agency to determine paternity and establish, modify, and enforce child support orders. Okay? Again, this is more proof of trickery. 1 second here. This is 45 CFR 303.101 expedited processes. Okay, and look, under 303.101 expedited processes, C, safeguards. Under expedited processes, paternity and order established by the due process rights of the parties involved must be protected. So how do they do that? They need your consent. Because they cannot protect your due process if you're participating in an expedited process in front of a fake judge, a judge surrogate. They need your consent. All of this is incumbent upon you being a sucker. Well, that's a strong word. You're not a sucker. You're a victim. I apologize. You're not a sucker. Okay? That's a strong word, and you're not, because this is nothing but a well choreographed fraud. I apologize for saying that. So it's nothing but a fraud. Okay? Let me show you this. All right, this is 466.5, procedures concerning paternity establishment. All right, I'm going to show you something. All right, under 5I, no right. So those of you that are studying, learn, and maybe a little more advanced than other people, this is going to help you greatly. No right to a jury trial. So under paternity, you have no right to a jury trial, because why? Because there's no monetary controversy. Okay? They always use this whenever people demand a trial by jury. They always say, we don't have to give you a trial by jury under 42 U.S. restrictions. No, that's only for paternity establishment. So this is proof right here that they must, for child support enforcement, because child support enforcement is a monetary controversy of $20 or more. Okay? So under the 7th Amendment, any controversy of $20 or more, they have to provide you a trial by jury in accordance with common law. Okay? So with this information, you can demand a change of venue. And then you could even say, well, this is right here in your writing that there's no right to a trial by jury to establish paternity, but we're not establishing paternity, we're establishing support. And if they're asking you for $20 or more, they have to provide you a trial by jury. Okay? So I just wanted to show you that. All right? And All right. Lastly, because it's getting 30 minutes, I'm just showing you fraud. Okay, the basis of fraud. Okay. After proving that all this fraud, you can put together a relief from a judgment or order. Okay, so you can file a motion to vacate on the basis or a relief from a judgment. Okay, and what it is, it's Federal Rule 60B, but every state has a state statute, their own version of it. Okay, and this is, I put together some here. All right, we got Alabama, Alaska, okay, Indiana, Illinois. Let's look at Connecticut. Motion to set aside a judgment. Setting aside judgments. Okay, so this is showing you the statute is also giving you case law. Okay, all you have to do is Google relief from judgment in your state, or put in Federal Rule 60B, state statute in your state. You'll find it. All right, if you dig a little bit. Delaware. This is a little big. See, mistake of fact. See, relief 60. All right. Oh, this was not a good one to click on. Illinois, relief from judgments. And they give you, you can file a writ of error quorum nobis. That's actually the proper way of doing it. Yeah, but every state's different, okay? So this is the Illinois version of Federal Rule 60B, okay? So I'm just showing you what you're supposed to do. Sadly, you cannot go into court unless you're a little more advanced. One of the first things they do is they'll say, federal laws do not apply in state courts. That's one of the first go-tos by these judges or fake judges. That's why I encourage you to find your state statute. If you're going to go file a motion to vacate or relief from judgment under fraud, citing all the instances of fraud that you can prove, okay? That's what you do, and then you cite the state statute for a relief from judgment on the grounds of mistake of fact, fraud, duress, that type of stuff, all right? All right, so I hope that I provided you with some good information to prove that child support is a fraud. I proved to you that they need your express or implied consent. Okay, contract. So it's okay. Trust me, it's consent. So they need your express or implied consent. Implied is by you showing up and just not, contesting. You're just going along with the whole thing. So in their mind, you're accepting the services. Okay, that's why you have to contest from the very beginning. All right, guys. My email is rick, rick0327 @me.com. It will be in the description, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.